Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Player Zone YouTube channel and welcome to our round 16 predictions here for Euro 2024. We've finished with the group stages, we've finished with the excitements, the few shock results, and I guess the unserious part of the tournament. Now we've got to the serious part, the knockout stages where we have massive storylines, huge performances, and I cannot wait for this to all kick off because so far Euro 2024 has delivered. It's been very, very exciting, very engaging. But everyone remembers tournaments for the knockout stages. So a lot of good football to come and a lot of exciting games to come, especially here in the round 16 with a few teams that you might not expect could cause some problems, some of the big boys and established nations throughout. Looking back at our prediction points now, if you're somehow new to the channel and you're wondering how it all works, it's 3 points to correct scoreline, 1 point for the correct result predicted. We came into match day 3 on 17 points, so not too bad. And we're an absolute stinker match day 3, only adding the 5 points, including a 3 point for the correct scoreline predicted. So out of all 12 games, only got 3 of the games somewhat right. So not too good at all. Looking to bounce back here in our round 16 games. We've got 8 of them to predict. So let's get straight now into the video. Our first game we're predicting is Switzerland and Italy. A very, very interesting game here. We've got Switzerland team coming off a strong result coming the end of the group stage. They finished second in their group on 5 points. They beat Hungary on match day 1 and got a very, very impressive draw versus Germany in the final match day. And until the last moments, they were winning that group. So really, really competitive come the last few games and seem to improve as the tournament's gotten deeper despite the results, I guess, not looking like that on paper. They go about things very differently to what the Italians might be used to. They're a very counter-attacking team, but a team that has a lot of pace up top to deal with. Italy haven't really dealt with that yet so far this tournament, with like elite level pace up top. But that's what they're going to play with. You know, Spain have a lot of pace, but they play with a lot in possession. Italy have to sit back and absorb pressure. Croatia doesn't have much pace to counter-attack with. They haven't faced that either. Albania obviously got the goal in the first minute. Outside of that, they've not gone up against a team that is absolutely going to counter-attack them and use pace up top, and that's what Switzerland will do. The likes of Ndoye up top has been much of a problem. You saw in the Germany game, could have scored 2 goals and was unlucky. Vargas as well also could have scored a goal himself on the counter-attack. They're very, very dangerous in that part of the park. So the Italian side that will like to play a little bit more possession this game, I think, have to keep in mind to prevent that counter-attack that Switzerland can play with. And so that they've mastered this style of football now, going a few games into the tournament here. Standout player for me is Michael Arbischer on the flank. Seems really, really dangerous. Not just initial up and down sort of elite runner, but someone who's very creative with the ball at his feet, is dangerous in that sort of regard. And alongside a very, very strong midfield, you look at the likes of Granit Xhaka and Remo Freuler in there, that's where I think the strength of the Switzerland side is. Their ability to win the ball back, transition the play, and then release the guys like Vargas and Ndoye up top who can use their pace and their skill to get in behind and finish the chances on their counter-attack. So I've got Arbischer, got a goal already in the tournament, been very dangerous in every single game. It looks like their most dangerous player going forward. He's obviously someone to keep an eye out from, especially in the flank there, which Italy will have to shut down. Then the middle of the park there, Granit Xhaka, Remo Freuler, known for their ability to go both ways, defensively very, very solid, but can carry the ball as well. So it's these sort of midfield players in the tournament, which I've touched a lot. I think midfield in control and midfield domination, very important to winning games of football so far in Euro 2024, and these two here can go about and do that for this side here. So it's really important that the Italians can cover that off. For Italy, they come off a, I guess, monumental sort of result right at the end. There's Akanji's late equaliser with the last kick of the game was massive. Gets them the point, gets them out of the group where they were momentarily getting knocked out. So they've come off that emotional roller coaster of getting that done. But they've got to apply themselves here straight away versus Switzerland. It's important they start strong. I think they'll go back to playing with a bit more possession. They'll play that slow style of football and try to work away at the Switzerland side. But as I said, they need to be wary of the counter-attack. They need to be wary of how Switzerland can switch from defence to attack very, very quickly and cover that off. I think the midfield domination, once again, will be important. Barella, Fratesi, if he starts in there as well, Jorginho, these sort of players, really important to carry the ball, be tough in there, not allow the likes of Remo Freuler and Granit Xhaka to get on top of the game. I think whoever can control that midfield area of the park allows their team to play their style of football. So if they're winning the midfield battle, it's not going to be a back and forth type game. It will be a game that's controlled from the midfield, be a slower type pace game, something the Italians want to play with. If it's won by the Switzerland players in midfield, you expect to be back and forth. The game become a bit more stretched, and that's where Switzerland can do their best work there. The only thing I will say, though, about the Italians, they need to play a bit more pace in the final third. So Chiesa, Pellegrini, Raspadori, Retegui, and Skamaka, whoever plays up top there, whatever combination they go with, they need to play with a bit more pace in the final third, because this slow build-up's all good and well from the back into midfield, but we saw their goal came from Calafiori driving into spaces, opening it up, and playing with a bit more pace and urgency at the end of that game there. Before that, they lacked a lot of urgency, lacked a lot of pace, and they didn't have an ability to break down that Croatian side. So I think it's important that it's fine playing with that slow pace in terms of building the ball up, but once you get past halfway and towards that final third there, you look to be a bit more dynamic, play with a bit more incision and precision in the final third, and that's the way you're going to find your goals. Because right now, Vertegu and Skamaka has had a lack of supply, and as such, have struggled in games. So really important that Italy try and go a bit more aggressive in the final third, maybe throw a few more numbers going forward. Calafiori made that goal that Zaccagni scored, so maybe throw the fullbacks up and try and create some danger in the final third there, because they've been a little bit too pragmatic for me in many games. But that all being said, I think this is where the shock result comes so far in the tournament. I know it's early on, I've already gone with a shock result, but I'm going to go with Switzerland winning this game 1-0. I think that midfield for me holds the key. Italy haven't been good enough for me in front of goal. They can't score goals. I think in clumps, they struggle to break down defences, might go late. If it goes late in the game, the more I trust the Italians. But I think they start early, they start strong here, Switzerland, and they get a goal early on. As such, I can see them win this game in a shock 1-0 win. Game 2 from the round of 16s is Denmark and Germany. Germany, obviously home team, they're favourites, and have played some great football at the start of the group stage, but it's just sort of tailed off come the end of the group stage there with that 1-1 draw to Switzerland, where they were quite rightly exposed for a team that struggles into low block. Switzerland employed a low block and made it hard for this Germany side to break them down. And I think I raised it in my reaction video to the game, and also many people online have raised it as well. Is it time that we go away from Kai Havertz and use a proper number 9 in the middle in Nicholas Füllkrug? He scores so many goals on the bench so far, and when he came on, it changed the game for Germany. They had a different outlook on the game, a different avenue towards goal, where crosses from Mittelstadt and Kimmich early in the game were going unrewarded, because Kai Havertz is not that pure number 9. When Füllkrug comes on, rams balls into the area, decent ball, not amazing, but Füllkrug makes the most of it and scores the goal. And that's the difference that Germany might need against a team, especially like Denmark, that have sat in and been defence first throughout this whole tournament. They sit with the back 5. They're hard to break down in midfield areas. I think it's time you might have to change it up. If they stick with Kai Havertz, understand it, because he makes Musiala and Wirtz around him better. And those two players obviously are going to be so important for me. It's been a theme, I guess, as the tournament's gone deeper and deeper. These bigger teams are struggling to break down the, I guess, so-called smaller nations in terms of the teams that are employing the low block, and they're struggling to deal with their counter-attacking energy. So Germany need to take the chances, and it's going to be down to Musiala and Wirtz to do that. Kai Havertz not at a clinical out-and-out number 9 and scorer, so as such, going to fall into these guys in the wide areas to do that. And I think another important player is Toni Kroos in midfield. He's been fantastic so far in this tournament. I guess heavily under-talked about what he's been doing, but now that you go in the deeper stage, you see the impact these type of players have that can control the pace of a game, can see the pass more often than not. And he, in every single game, is at 100 touches plus in every game. His pass accuracy is always 95% plus. He makes the right reads. He will play smart when he needs to. He can play the aggressive pass also when he needs to as well, and can be important in breaking down a low block, which Denmark will impose. They come off their group with the most boring group out of them all. They came with 3 draws, and they come into this game now needing to employ a similar sort of style to stop this Germany side, who love to play high-flowing football and play out from the back, really expressive, expansive. To shut that down for Germany, you have to play that tight, compact system. That back 5, tuck the fullbacks in, the 3 central midfielders, get them nice and deep in front of that back 5 and really compact the areas and allow Vind and Højlund to maybe nick something out of nowhere. That's what I expect that Denmark will try and employ against the Germany side. Robert Arndt will be important for Germany to sit back and repel any counterattacks that the Denmark side implement. I think for them, it's really important, once again, the midfield. Højlund, Højbjerg and Eriksen. These guys, when they get in their ball, to be smart with their passing. They did it well against England, is when they got the ball, they actually made the most of it, made the most of their possession, were smart about it, and have it a bit more time on the ball, so they're not defending for full 90 minutes. They once again will be very, very pivotal. When they win the ball back, to deal with an early Germany press, to keep possession, and then once you have a bit of possession, to make the right reads to go forward and provide chances for the wing-backs or for the 2 strikers up top. And in many regards, it might fall in one of these midfielders to score an important goal at an important time. I think this game will be back and forth. I think whoever settles earlier will be the better of the 2 sides. I think Germany do that. I think they're the better side. They'll eventually break down this Danish group, but Denmark will make it hard for them. We understand that. I've gone with Germany winning this game 2-1. I think it's going to be another one of those really, really cagey type affairs in the first half. But as the game goes on, then the quality of Germany show, and it might come down to once again Nicholas Füllkrug coming off the bench and scoring a winner in this game here. Our next game is England and Slovakia. England considered one of the most disappointing teams out of this tournament so far. They topped their group on 5 points, so yet to lose and only concede 1 goal. But they've been far from great in this tournament. They've lacked that attacking threat in the final third. When you've got the names like Bellingham, Kane, Foden, Saka, Palmer, just to name a few, you'd think you'd be scoring more goals. But it's been, once again, tournament-style football from Gareth Southgate. And I guess you can't really blame the players too much, because what it looks like the coach has asked from the players, they are doing. They are making up themselves hard to beat. They're not conceding many goals. They've been really, really solid throughout games. But they just really lack that threat going forward. And you think in the knockout stages, you can play a style of football, but eventually it's going to show. Some team are going to get the better of you, and that's when you're going to become weaker and more vulnerable, and that's when you start to worry about this England side. I think this Slovakian side here can cause problems for England. They've obviously come off a 0-0 versus Slovenia, where they really lacked any firepower in the final third. I think Gareth Southgate's slowly going to the way that people want him to play. Don't think we're fully there, but I think it's time Kobbie Mainoo plays in midfield, just to give a bit more freedom to Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham, because with Conor Gallagher there and Private Trent Alexander-Arnold there, these guys have to do as much defensive work as they did have to do attacking work. And I think on the ball, Kobbie Mainoo is fantastic in tight areas. It means Declan Rice at times can push on and be more progressive. It means they can play out from the back a little bit better. And with all this possession that England have, a player like Kobbie Mainoo who can drive into spaces and open the game up with his passing array will be really, really important for the expansive nature of this team and to get more chance in the final third. They're a very solid possession team. They're a very solid defensive team. We need to see more attacking output. And that for me is the second point, is Harry Kane has to get the hell out of dropping back. Get him up alongside the back four and try and get him running in behind, because he's clogging up spaces that Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, even Kobbie Mainoo, if he players wants to work in. He's closing up all that space and there's no runners in behind. There's a reason behind why Bukayo Saka has probably been one of the better players for England so far this tournament, because he is keeping his width, he's keeping wide, and he's trying to stretch the opposition back lines. I think Harry Kane has to make that effort to just stay high up the pitch. Don't be worried about the build-up play. Just finish the ball. Put the ball in the back of the net, and that'll go a long way for England to win this game. Once again, the likes of Gahey and Stones at the back have been pivotal so far in the tournament and have to be good yet again against a very dangerous Slovakian side that can cause problems with their transitional play on the counter-attack yet again. They're probably in the feel-good story so far this tournament. They finished on 4 points in their group after that magical 1-0 win versus Belgium in match day 1. And I look to employ something very similar here again. Give up possession for the wing to create more chances and create better chances. I've been seen so far in this tournament, just because you have possession doesn't mean you get the better of the chances or the more of the chances. Many games, a team with less possession normally has those opportunities. So it'll be a similar sort of drive in this game here to try and win the game of football. Look at the midfield, the hard-working Kuchka, Lobotka and Duda in the midfield. They have been pivotal so far in this tournament. Their two-way running, their smarts in the ball, and their willingness to work hard. If they outworked England midfield, once again, as I said throughout this tournament, the midfield is very, very important. If they can do that here versus England, they could get at that back four there that, you know, has been vulnerable at times, hasn't seen much actual defensive cover because they've defended so deep throughout games. But if you can expose them as a back four with players running at them, you never know. You might be able to get a goal here and nick a goal out of something. And I think that's the way this game could work out. Obviously, Ivan Šranc for me is probably one of the most dynamic and exciting forward players for the Slovakian side, and he's someone that could cause England some problems down that left-hand side of their defence as well. Got Dubravka and Skriniar in goal. That'll be important to deny Harry Kane and the awesome England wingers if they get their head down, and I think Anthony Gordon has to start in this game as well. So Gareth has to make a few changes. Does he make it? I don't know. I'm fine with him playing this sort of negative style of football if he plays a little bit more dynamic players in the final third, because you can play snatch and grab then. But when you're playing players that don't really suit this sort of defensive system, you're playing players that suit a more attacking system, yet playing a defensive style of football, it doesn't quite work. So play the players that have the speed and the ability to run in behind defences and take the chance out of nothing. That might work if you're going to play this snatch and grab style of football. And tell you what, this snatch and grab style of football might work in the favour of Slovakians who can build their way into the game. And I think it's going to be a 1-1 result. I think we're going to go, and this game will go to pens. I think England would just get over the line in penalties, but I think it's not going to be any given that England get through this game here. I think Slovakian side work very hard. They've been the underrated team this tournament. They've caused a lot of problems. They've caused it to Belgium. Belgium and England are in a very similar boat right now. And I think Slovakia can cause some more problems yet again. It's going to be down to if they can find the back of the net at some point in this game, because England are sort of good for 1 goal. They're not good for 2 though. So if Slovakia can score 1 goal, they might go on to win the game as well. So I'm going with a 1-1 draw in added time, and then going to penalties and England winning it just on penalties in the end. Our next match is Spain and Georgia. Spain actually topping their group, going at 9 from 9, and being, for me, in the power rankings #1 right now. They have been fantastic throughout the tournament. They've played counter-attacking football in match day 1 versus Croatia, absorbing pressure against them and then springing the counter-attack. They played possession football against Italy and then rotated their whole side for the final game versus a weaker Albania side and still at the 1-0 win. So they are really fully rested. They've got superstars over the pitch. Look at that midfield. It's going to be very important for them yet again, but it's not the traditional Spanish midfield where they just play tiki-taka. They've shown they can play in different styles. As I said, they played that possession style versus Italy and played them off the park. They counter-attacked a Luka Modric, Brozovic midfield in match day 1 and did that really well as well. You know, Rodri's controlling the ball. Pedri going forwards look fantastic as, I guess, the more progressive of the three. And then for me, the standout of the tournament, probably the player of the tournament so far, was Fabian Ruiz, who's sort of been the number 8 in between those two players. He's been pivotal, driving the ball into spaces, opening up opportunities, scoring goals for himself, assisting for himself. Then you've got the experience at the back with Simon, Dani Carvajal. These guys do not make mistakes at all, alongside Lenormand, who's established himself on the world stage as one of the better centre-halves in world football. And then right now, I keep bragging about them, but they've been fantastic. Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal on the flanks, stretching defences, causing chaos with their pace and their ability to be two-footed at times as well. It's elite level. It's elite level that teams cannot stop at the moment. So I think Georgia have little chance to stop them. Obviously, you got the improved performance on the final match day where they go and beat Portugal 2-0. Portugal did rotate a little bit and were a bit unlucky. But it's going to be down to, once again, Kavica Kvaratskhelia. Can he cause problems on the counter-attack? Can Kadutse get another goal? He's 3-3 at the moment. Can he get a goal out of nothing? It's going to be if Georgia can create those magical moments, because Spain don't give up many chances. They've been so solid at the back. You have to look at their defence. Do not concede goals. They're fabulous defensive. You haven't conceded yet this tournament. So solid midfield with Rodri in front of that back four. Their midfield's safe on the ball. They don't make many mistakes on the ball. It's going to take a monumental stuff up by Spain here to drop this game. I think Georgia will keep it tight as long as possible, but eventually it's going to show. You know, Mamardashvili, as a goalkeeper, need more heroics from him yet again, some more of those sort of 12, 10 save type games, but I think Spain's too much for this Georgian side. I've got Spain winning the game 2-0. I don't see Georgia any way they win this game of football. Our next game is between two teams that have disappointed so far in this tournament. It is France and Belgium. France so far in this tournament have struggled in front of goal. Their only goal coming from the penalty spot from Kylian Mbappe versus Poland. Other than that, there's been one own goal scored as well. They have struggled in the final third. It has been hard to watch at times. They've been fantastic in midfield and defensive areas. Mike Maignan in goal, fantastic. William Saliba has grown into this tournament. Théo Hernandez at fullback, fantastic. It has been good all over the park. Midfield, as in Rabiot, N'Golo Conte, fabulous. But these two have been workhorses in there, winning the ball back, driving France forward, and done a fantastic job at that. But the final game, we saw a little bit more life, but it's been underwhelming in the final third. I think Mbappe coming back down the middle has been fantastic for them, and that means Barcola on the right-hand channel, left-hand channel, for me, a fabulous move. I think Mbappe down the middle, Barcola, Ousmane Dembele is the way to go. Dembele, heavily underperforming, but fantastic in the final game. That is what we've seen, like to see from France. They got the 1-1 draw, yes, but it was more positive sides in the final third. And that's what you need for them. Knockout football, you need to score some goals at some point. It felt like they were just sort of treading water a little bit and ready to explode in that final game versus Poland, but they didn't really do that. They were good on the ball, they were dangerous going forward, but they couldn't score goals. And I think that's going to be the problem here. They're lucky going against a Belgium side who also don't score goals either. So, you know, I watched Belgium in their final game versus Ukraine being booed off by their fans, 0-0, lacked any creativity. Other than for Kevin De Bruyne, it was blunt in the final third. It was boring, it was pragmatic, it was slow. And I think the reason why for France you play Barcola, you play Mbappe, you play Ousmane Dembele is the back four for Belgium are incredibly slow. They're not a quick back four. Barcola's young legs, Kylian Mbappe's rapid speed, Ousmane Dembele's ability to skip past defenders. That could cause a difference here in this game here. I think that's their advantage. For Belgium, you have to find some way to get Lukaku in improved form, or do you start Lewis or Pender? Because right now there's no danger. Other than for Kevin De Bruyne, it's a one-man team right now. Ronaldo midfields have been okay, defensively covering off. Mangala comes on, does a decent job. Leandro Trossard and Jeremy Doku have been invisible so far in this tournament, and I think it's all going down to Kevin De Bruyne to do all the work. So unless Lukaku finds some confidence out of somewhere, I think you have to start Lewis Openda with a bit more pace and dynamism in the final third, and you need to help Kevin De Bruyne out. You need players who can stretch the play, who can take the onus off him to perform. I think Belgium are at an all-time low right now. They are so vulnerable and so gettable. Ukraine, if they could finish in front of goal, would have easily beaten that Belgium side. And Belgium lose match day 1 also to Slovakia as well. So not a good side at all. France, not great, but so much more upside, I feel like. There's so many more players that can do great things. I think N'Golo Conte, Adrien Rabiot shut down Kevin De Bruyne, forced other players to create, and as such, Belgium will just not have the ball. They won't be able to put together 3 or 4 passes. They're not good enough. They try and play out from the back and play this slow build-up style of football. But if Kevin De Bruyne is not in that build-up, I don't see the way they break down the French side. I think for France, it's about how you can score some goals. I think Barcola plays, Ousmane Dembele with a similar performance like he put up against Poland, and Mbappe in the middle, there's goals there. I'm going with a 2-0 France win. I can honestly see France winning this game of football. If Belgium win it, it'll be a miracle. You can mark my words in that. They've been so poor in this tournament. I think France get the job done here and progress to the next stage. The third from last game is Portugal and Slovenia. Portugal come off topping Group F in the end, despite their 2-0 loss in the final match day versus Georgia. But you're seeing what Roberto Martinez has implemented in the philosophy now in this Portugal side. They're attacking style of football. They have a lot of possession in important areas. It's if they can find the back of the net. It's been a common trend amongst all the big teams. France, England, Belgium, Portugal as well. Disappointing in that final game. I know they made a lot of changes, but they couldn't find the back of the net. And I think as such, in this game here, the onus goes on to Cristiano Ronaldo and it goes on to Bruno Fernandes. Can these guys be at their tip-top best? Because when they are, Portugal smack teams about. You see in the qualifiers, you see in friendlies, they're performing at such an elite level. Bruno Fernandes has been solid. Ronaldo has been solid in this tournament, but not great. And as such, you get a late Conceição winner versus Czechia. You dominate Turkey. They weren't that great on the day. And you struggle versus Georgia. And I think, obviously, the rotations hurt you in the Georgian game, but you come to the round of 16 here, you need the big players to stand up. And Ronaldo, I feel like he's just brewing. He's waiting for another classical Ronaldo type performance. I think this could be the game here. You could get him off the leash a little bit. It's going to be tight because Slovenia don't like to make it easy on teams. They're the harder working team, I think, out of these two units. And I start saying another key player for Portugal is Vitinha in midfield. You see what he did in the knockout stages for PSG was fabulous in that knockout style of football, carrying the ball, being aware of players around him, making the right passes, gives off that Toni Kroos type vibe midfield at the moment where he's making the right reads and also he's driving the spaces. Him and Fabian Ruiz right now, almost like the similar sort of players. Obviously, both play for PSG, but both are very important in terms of not only defensively and their passing, but driving forward and creating chances for themselves or others in the final third. I think he'll be another massive player in this game here from the number 8 type role. And then the back line, Pepe, alongside Ruben Diaz. It'll be tough and they'll be solid because Slovenia they want to counter-attack you. They want to try and use their pace, use some of the big boys up top to try and get in behind you. You have to be wary, have your wits about you to deny them any chances because in the past, Portugal could cover off teams because they used to be all defensively orientated. Now they're a team that plays out from the back, that throws numbers forward. Nuno Mendes and also Jacques Cancelo on the fullback positions. They like to get forward. You basically at times playing 2 at the back with Jacques Palinha in front. So it's a team that has to be worried about how many numbers they throw forward, how they play their football, because you can be exposed sometimes on the break. Slovenian side made it through the group with 3 draws in that very, very boring group with England in it as well, and Denmark. Every group game they play with less than 35% possession. So it's pretty clear the style of football they want to play. They're a workman-like team that work hard off the ball to try and get their chances going forward. And you see that. They've had games that had 10 to 11 shots on goal. The XG sometimes at 1.2 because yes, they might give up possession, but they're still dangerous going the other way and can be very dangerous the way they explode into attack there. So the counter-attacking style of football and the ability to be clinical in their short sort of spells of possession is what they're really, really good at. Obviously, the defensive solidity is number 1 for them. So the likes of Janza, Bijol, Durkis, and Karsinik at the back in front of them, very consistent. Jan Oblak are their key players. If they can keep Portugal out, keep Ronaldo quiet, keep Bruno Fernandes quiet, Bernardo Silva, Rafael Leao quiet, especially Rafael Leao. He could be a guy that could change the game. Has had a quiet tournament so far, but if he gets running at defenders and exploding past the back line, that opens up chances for himself and also Cristiano Ronaldo. So shut down those Portuguese forwards. That back 4 there for Slovenia with Jan Oblak making some massive saves. You might have yourself a game on your hands there. That all being said, though, we're waiting for Benjamin Sesko to do something. Could this be the game that he comes out and shows himself on the big European stage? This could be the opportunity, a prime opportunity against a very solid Portugal side that many predict might go quite deep in the tournament. It's going to be a tough old game. Going nitty and gritty, I feel like Portugal will have a lot of the ball, but similar to that sort of Czechia game in match day 1, they'll struggle to break them down. I've gone with a Portugal 2-1 win here over Slovenia. I'm going to take an important moment from a big player, and I think Cristiano Ronaldo will be that guy to get the winner here in this game and make his mark here in Euro 2024. our penultimate game is Romania and the Netherlands. And Romania topped their group with 4 points. Been a very fantastic side to watch, but a very fantastic side in their ability to defend. A team that is not very easy to beat. And look at that sort of back trio there with Bertka, Dragusin and Nietzsche as well at the back. The keeper doing fantastically well. Dragusin showing why Tottenham signed him, and Bertka being one of those players that is really physical. All three of those guys put themselves in the way and prevent being score past. Romania, a team that's very difficult to score past, very difficult to create chances on because they're so solid. Those three, they're at the centre of the defence. So if they continue to perform the way they're going, it's going to be a very, very tough game for the Netherlands here. Their strength is transitional play. I guess not quite counter-attacking because they do have long stints of possession as well, but they look their best when they win the ball back and can play a bit more pace. That transition is where they're at their best. That midfield area with Razvan and Marius and Marin and also Stanchu. These three midfielders, very, very good in terms of getting the ball and driving the space and exposing defences. And where the Netherlands' weakness has been in midfield, it's a great opportunity to get at them here. And the Romanian side have shown they've got the guts to go after games and take games to opposition. They got that fantastic 3-0 win versus Ukraine in match day 1. Ukraine, a team that played with a bit more possession that game there, wanted to slowly break the team down. That's what the Netherlands like to do. They can employ a similar sort of style there where stay solid defensively, grow into the game, grow in terms of your time on the ball and possession, ride out some tough moments early on, and then strike towards middle and the end of the game. That's the way you can get the Netherlands right now. I like the side, but they're vulnerable. That midfield lack of depth right now is hurting them. Vermin having an awful tournament right now. Dino Ryan is struggling playing that deeper role. I think you have to throw away this whole midfield trio defensively orientated, a bit more balanced. Go after it. Xavi Simons in the start and the number 10. I would go without Vegos in the middle at the number 9. He's proved when he's come into games, he's made a difference to the Netherlands side. Get the ball and defeat it. Go to Gakpo, Xavi Simons. Even if you start Jeremy Frimpong from the start with a bit more dynamism in the right-hand channel, that's the way you go for me. Because right now, Verman, outside of him being player of the season in the Eredivisie, he's really struggled in this tournament so far. The Rangers play him alongside Schouten in midfield, get those two working there. Even get a Gini Wijnaldum from the start in midfield. Maybe that's the difference. A bit of an all-round ball-playing sort of number 8 in there to partner Schouten in midfield. I think you have to start Xavi Simons. Whenever he has the ball, he causes danger. Cody Gakpo, whenever he's driving at defenders, he's causing problems. And despite Memphis Depay scoring, I'm still so against him from the start. He doesn't do much for me. His hold-up play is not good enough. His link-up play is not good enough. When Wout Weghorst gets in the game, he makes an impact. He changes the way the Netherlands play their football. So I think he has to go from the start for me. The 3-2 loss to Austria, that showed Romania how you're going to beat the Netherlands. It is be a team that's pressing, high energy, high intensity, because Netherlands like to play a slow pace. I like to slowly break teams down and wear teams away over 90 minutes. If you can get them early, if you can keep pressing them, you can have forwards that take chances when they get limited opportunities, you will beat this Netherlands side because they can expose themselves at times with a lack of midfield depth and accountability, with a lack of control in games, because if you press them, they start to panic, especially playing out from the back. That's the way you get at this Dutch side. So the blueprint is there for the Romanian side. Netherlands haven't been great, but I still back them in here. I've gone with the Netherlands 2-1 win. I think Romania might get a goal early on, but the game will go deep and the Netherlands will sort it out. If they start a bit better than they did versus Austria, they'll easily win this game. But I guess it's important, the team, to ride out moments. If Romania can ride out tough moments, if the Netherlands can ride out moments, whoever rides out the tougher the moments and can keep their clean sheet, go a long, long way to win this game of football. I think the Netherlands will do that with their more experienced, high-quality players. Our final game from the round of 16 is Austria versus Turkey. A very, very intriguing game. Something I'm very excited about, especially Austria in the knockout stages. For me, the underdogs of the tournament, and have got a lighter run on the weaker side of the draw to make it to a final potentially. They're going to face England or the Netherlands at some point, but outside of that, two out-of-form bigger nations, they've got a clear path to the final here. And they come against Turkey in their first game on the back of a 3-2 win against the Dutch and winning their group, a group that contained the French and the Dutch as well. So fantastic work for them. And it's clear to see that it's all been down to Ralf Rangnick's tactics and the ability of all 10 players on the pitch to press together, to work together, to sit in deep at times and give up possession, at times press teams all together and do it as a unit. And as such, it's caused a lot of teams problems and caught teams out. I think this willingness to go together and work as a unit. You don't see it much in international football. You don't get to train much together. You don't get to learn much about your players too often. But right now they're doing it as a massive unit. And it's down to those sort of top, Marko Arnautovic, great worker with and without the ball, but somebody takes his chance when he gets him. Marcel Sabitzer, for me, one of the best sort of number 8, number 10 players that can push on and create chances and score important goals. Wimmer as well had a poor game. The final game has been fantastic, coming off the bench and changing the game, the ability to drive into space, open the game up with his passing around, confidence on the ball. Baumgartner off the bench or from the start as well, dangerous player on the ball. It's his guys in the final third that are dangerous and work really hard defensively that make this Austrian side work. And you look at like the Posh at the back, Patrick Pence in goal as well. Very, very solid side with players all over the park that do a fantastic job. And they don't give you less than a 7 out of 10. That's what Rafa and he's got this side doing. And as such, it makes it really, really hard to play against. Turkey, they come into this game after coming second in their group. Important win, late win versus Czechia in the final game. Their style of football is possession. They like to challenge Yildiz and Arda Güler, their superstars, getting the ball as much as possible. And we're seeing that in the tournament so far. They prefer possession football, but they haven't quite dealt with an Austrian style press. I think that's will be their weakness in this game. They'll continue to play that style. That's the way they've played all so far in this tournament. But it's important to see how they deal with that press, how they deal with that pressure, because so far many teams, including the Dutch, have struggled with it. And that says a lot with the Dutch team is very comfortable on the ball as well. The likes of Akiden, Demiral will be important as hard as the defence there to deal with this Austrian side, not only defensively, but also dealing with the press they'll put on them, playing out from the back. So it's important they cover off that role there as well. And it's important that Turkey, if they settle in early, they can get comfortable in this game early on, they can go a long way for them winning this game of football. I think as long as they can ride out the first sort of 40 minutes and 30, 40 minutes and get themselves into the game and understand how the Austrian side press, they could go and nick this game. I think the Austrian side is one of the most dangerous sides, but if you can settle in, especially this Turkey side with so much danger and X factor in the final third, if you can ride out the early moments and deal with the Austrian press and Austrian style of football, it goes a long way for you winning this game. I don't give them much of a chance, but that's the way, or the avenue I can see them winning this game of football. With that being said, I've got Austria winning it 3-0. I think it's probably the easiest, probably the banker of the round 16 games, especially the style of football they're playing. I can see them going very, very deep in this tournament here, Austria, especially with the management of Ralf Rangnick at this point in time. With that being said, ladies and gents, that brings this prediction video to an end. There are my predictions for the round of 16 results. Very, very interesting. A lot of exciting games in there. A lot of underdogs versus some superior teams. But these superior nations, they're not in great form. They're not performing well. And they're not playing really attractive style of football right now. They're really struggling. So we could see a few plot twists here in the round of 16. For the most part, I backed in the favourites, but chucked a few in there and a few curveballs in there just to protect myself because I had 2 great predictions so far in this tournament. With that being said, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash a like on it, subscribe to the Player Zone channel, and press that post notification bell so you know we upload our videos here on the channel. Thanks for joining me. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the upcoming football, especially the knockout stages. Cannot wait for this time of year with this style of football. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later. Peace.